Don't ignore these 10 signs. They reveal the evil hiding next to you. Welcome to Live Stoic, Live Strong. Your energy feels heavy, doesn't it? Like someone's presence alone could dim the brightest spark in your soul. What if that's not just a feeling, but a warning? And what if the chaos they leave behind isn't an accident, but a carefully crafted trap? Welcome to a journey that pulls back the curtain on the subtle, chilling ways evil moves among us. Not with horns or tails, but with smiles that hide daggers. In this video, we'll unravel 10 undeniable signs of an evil person, signs so clear they'll light up your path like a beacon. These aren't just red flags. They're blazing alarms to protect your peace and shield your spirit. Ready to step into clarity and arm yourself with ancient wisdom? Let's dive in. Evil doesn't announce itself with a villainous laugh or a dramatic entrance. It's quieter, sneakier, weaving its way into your life through people who seem harmless at first glance. Maybe it's a friend who always leaves you second-guessing yourself, or a colleague whose compliments feel like velvet gloves over iron fists. These aren't fairy tale monsters. They're real, and their weapon is your kindness. The good news? You don't need to be a sage or a sleuth to spot them. Ancient Stoic philosophers, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, gifted us timeless tools to see through the fog of deception and guard our inner peace. Their insights, sharp as a blade, cut through the noise to reveal the truth. Evil thrives in subtle actions, but with awareness, you can stop it in its tracks. Picture this: a charming smile that feels just a little too perfect, words that lift you up one moment and chip away at your confidence the next. Evil people don't wear badges of malice. They wear masks of charm, wielding manipulation like a master painter strokes a canvas. They twist reality, exploit your trust, and turn your vulnerabilities into their playground. But here's the empowering truth: you can see through the illusion. In this video, I'll guide you through 10 vivid, unmistakable signs that someone in your life might be more dangerous than they seem. These aren't just tips, they're lifelines to reclaim your clarity, safeguard your energy, and walk through the world with unshakable confidence. So let's begin this journey together, starting with the first sign that's as old as time itself. Sign 1. Constant manipulation asterisk. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once warned, "He who has many fears also has many things to manipulate." It's not just a saying, it's a spotlight on the dark art of control. Manipulators don't build their power on honesty or integrity. They thrive in the shadows, spinning lies into webs that trap your mind. I'll never forget a colleague I once trusted, someone whose praise felt like sunshine after a long winter. In meetings, he'd sing my praises, making me feel seen, valued, like I was on top of the world. But behind closed doors, a different story. He'd whisper subtle critiques to others, magnifying my smallest missteps into glaring failures, all while wearing a mask of concern. When I confronted him, his voice was calm, his words smooth. "I'm just trying to help you grow." For a moment, I doubted myself. Was I overreacting? Was I the problem? That's the poison of manipulation. It doesn't just confuse you. It burrows into your confidence, making you question your own worth. This colleague wasn't helping me. He was orchestrating a slow erosion of my self-belief, nudging me toward dependence on his guidance. Manipulators are architects of doubt, preying on your uncertainties to tighten their grip. They don't want you strong or independent. They want you tethered to their control, convinced that only they can light your path. Stoic wisdom offers a shield against this. Clarity and self-control are your greatest allies. A virtuous person lifts you toward autonomy, encouraging you to trust your own judgment. But a manipulator? They tangle you in their web, making you feel like you need them to survive. So ask yourself, is there someone in your life whose words leave you feeling smaller, even when they sound kind? That's the first sign, and it's one you can't ignore. As we move forward, these signs will build on each other, painting a clearer picture of how to spot and protect yourself from those who thrive on chaos. In the next part, we'll uncover another chilling trait that evil people can't hide, one that reveals itself in the way they treat your trust. Curious? Let's keep going. We've just peeled back the first layer, exposing how manipulators weave their webs to trap your confidence. Now, let's dive deeper into the shadows, where charm and lies dance together, hiding motives that chill the heart. These are the next signs of an evil person, traits so vivid they'll sharpen your instincts and guard your peace. Ready to see through the masks? Let's uncover the truth. Sign 2. A mask of charm asterisk Epictetus once cautioned. Appearances, no matter how dazzling, often hide the truth beneath. Have you ever met someone whose charm felt like a warm embrace, yet left a faint shiver down your spine? Their smile gleams like polished glass, their words flow like honey, and for a moment, you feel like the center of their world. It's a performance so flawless it could grace a silver screen. But step back, and the cracks begin to show. Charm, when genuine, builds bridges and fosters trust. In the hands of someone with darker intentions, it's a velvet curtain hiding a stage of deceit. I once knew a friend who could light up a room with his presence. He had a gift for making everyone feel special, showering them with compliments that felt like rare treasures. "You're one of a kind," he'd say, his eyes sparkling with sincerity. But over time, I noticed a pattern. His praise wasn't a gift, it was a transaction. When he got what he wanted, whether it was favor, attention, or influence, he'd vanish, leaving behind whispers of gossip about the very people he once adored. His charm was a mask, a carefully crafted facade to conceal a heart driven by selfishness. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Evil people wield charm not to connect, but to control, using it to disarm you while they plot their gain. So how do you see past the glitter? Trust the quiet voice in your gut. If their charm feels too perfect, too calculated, or leaves you uneasy despite the warmth, don't ignore it. Stoic wisdom reminds us that true kindness doesn't need a costume. It shines raw and unadorned. Watch how they act when the spotlight's off, how they treat those who offer them nothing. Actions, not words, reveal the soul. Ask yourself, does their charm feel like a gift or a hook? That's the second sign, and it's a warning you can't afford to miss. Sign 3. Lies without conscience asterisk. Marcus Aurelius taught us, nothing should be said if it isn't true. But for those with malice in their hearts, truth is just a hurdle to leap over. Lies aren't mistakes for these people. They're their craft, woven with precision to bend reality to their will. Picture a friend who spins stories so vivid you can't help but believe that's them. They paint themselves as heroes, victims, or sages, each tale crafted to win your trust or shift your perspective. But when the layers unravel, you realize their words were smoke, designed to obscure their true motives. I once had a coworker who thrived on elaborate tales. She'd recount grand stories of her achievements, each one polished to make her seem indispensable. "I stayed up all night to save the project," she'd say, earning nods of admiration. But the truth? Others had carried the weight, while she took the credit. Her lies weren't careless slips. They were deliberate, meant to elevate her while diminishing those around her. Evil people don't just lie. They wield deceit like a blade, cutting through trust to gain power, dodge blame, or twist your reality. Their conscience doesn't flinch, because for them truth is optional. How do you shield yourself? Clarity is your armor. Question their stories, not with confrontation, but with quiet observation. Do their words align with their actions? Do their tales hold up under scrutiny? Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves in reason, to seek truth over illusion. A liar's web unravels when you refuse to be swayed by their words alone. Ask yourself, does their story feel too convenient, too perfect? That's the third sign, and it's a signal to stay vigilant. As these signs stack up, the picture grows clearer, revealing how evil hides in plain sight. In the next part, we'll uncover another trait that betrays their true nature. One that shows how they thrive on chaos while you fight for peace. Curious to see what's next? Let's keep moving forward. We've just unraveled how lies and charm can twist reality, leaving you tangled in a web of doubt. Now, let's shine a light on another chilling trait of those who thrive on deception, a trait that reveals not just their motives, but the emptiness at their core. These next signs will sharpen your ability to see through their facade and protect your peace. Ready to dive deeper? Let's expose the truth. Sign 4. Lack of empathy. Seneca once said, "Humans are social creatures, not meant to live solely for themselves." Empathy is the thread that weaves us together, a bridge carrying us into each other's joys and sorrows. But for those with malice in their hearts, empathy is a foreign language they refuse to learn. Picture this. You're sitting across from someone you trust, your heart heavy as you share a struggle that's been gnawing at your soul. You search their eyes for comfort, for a flicker of understanding. Instead, they lean back, their voice sharp with dismissal. "Oh, you think that's tough? Let me tell you about my week." Your pain, your vulnerability, it's brushed aside like dust, irrelevant to their world. I once confided in a friend about a loss that left me reeling. I poured out my heart, hoping for a moment of connection. But her response? A cold pivot to her own drama, as if my grief was a mere inconvenience. It wasn't just one moment, it was a pattern. She'd feign concern when it suited her, but the second my struggles didn't serve her agenda, her eyes glazed over, her words turned hollow. That's the mark of someone devoid of empathy. They don't share in your pain or celebrate your wins unless it feeds their own goals. To them, you're not a person. You're a pawn in their game, a tool to be used or discarded. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "No more arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." True goodness radiates through empathy, a willingness to step into another's shoes. But for the malicious, empathy is a burden they refuse to carry. Their indifference isn't just a flaw, it's a window into a soul that's chillingly hollow. They might mimic compassion when it's convenient, offering crocodile tears or rehearse sympathy. But watch closely. The moment their mask slips, their apathy shines through, cold and unyielding. Have you ever felt a void where warmth should be, a silence that stings more than words? That's the fourth sign, and it's a glaring red flag. How do you protect yourself? Set boundaries like a fortress. Stoicism teaches us to guard our peace by focusing on what aligns with our values. If someone consistently dismisses your feelings or delights in your misfortune, don't argue or plead for their understanding. Just walk away. Empathy isn't a luxury. It's the heartbeat of any real connection. Without it, relationships become transactional, draining your spirit while they take what they need. Trust your instincts. If their actions feel cold, if their concern feels like a script, don't ignore the chill in your bones. Sign 5. Lies that rewrite reality, continued from sign 3, asterisk. Let's circle back to the thread of deceit, because lies don't just stop at words, they reshape the world around you. Remember that coworker who claimed she single-handedly saved a critical project? Her story was a masterpiece, painting her as the hero, while others faded into the background. But when I dug deeper, emails and documents told a different tale, one where her role was minor, her contributions exaggerated. Confronted, she didn't flinch. Instead, she turned the tables, accusing me of misunderstanding and flooding me with irrelevant details. That's the art of a master manipulator. They don't just lie, they make you doubt your own eyes, your own mind. These lies aren't careless, they're calculated to seize control. Evil manipulators thrive on your uncertainty, convincing you their version of reality is the only one that matters. Each lie builds on the last, a fragile house of cards that demands constant upkeep. But here's their weakness. Truth is a rock, unyielding and eternal, while lies are glass, always at risk of shattering. Stoic philosophy urges us to anchor ourselves in clarity. Pay attention to the gaps. Do their stories shift when pressed? Do their actions match their words? I learned to trust my observations over their deflections, to demand transparency and hold firm to my boundaries. Walking away from a liar's web isn't weakness, it's strength. Stoicism reminds us that real power lies in mastering ourselves, in choosing peace over chaos. So the next time someone's words feel like smoke, obscuring the truth, step back. Focus on their actions, not their excuses, and protect your clarity like a treasure. Ask yourself, are their stories too slippery, too convenient? That's a sign you can't ignore. As we peel back these layers, the portrait of an evil person grows sharper, each trait a brushstroke revealing their true nature. In the next part, we'll uncover another chilling sign, one that shows how they exploit your trust to fuel their chaos. Ready to see what's next? Let's keep going. We've just exposed how a lack of empathy and cunning lies can erode your trust and twist your reality. Now, let's step into the heart of their game, where control isn't just a desire, it's their obsession. These next signs will arm you with the clarity to break free and reclaim your power. Ready to see their tactics for what they are? Let's dive in. Sign 5. The hunger for control asterisk. Marcus Aurelius once declared, "Your mind is under your control, not external circumstances." When you realize this, you discover your true strength. But for an evil person, your strength is their target. Control isn't just a habit for them. It's their lifeline, a relentless need to dominate every corner of your world. Picture someone who seems helpful at first, their advice wrapped in care, their words laced with wisdom. But slowly, like a shadow creeping across the sun, their true intent emerges. They don't want to guide you. They want to own you, from your choices to your very thoughts. I once knew someone who seemed like a mentor, their guidance, a beacon in my uncertainty. They'd offer advice with a warm smile, making me feel supported, even grateful. But over time, their words took on a sharper edge. Subtle jabs crept into our conversations, each one chipping away at my confidence. "Are you sure you're ready for that?" they'd ask, their tone heavy with doubt. When I considered joining a major project, they didn't celebrate my ambition, they dismantled it. "You're not cut out for this," they said, urging me to step back and let them lead. I hesitated, my trust in myself wavering, and I let them take charge. Looking back, I see it clearly. They weren't protecting me. They were caging me, ensuring I'd never outshine or outgrow them. Evil people don't just influence, they consume. They use guilt, shame, or even honeyed words to make you question your worth, nudging you toward dependence. Have you ever felt your decisions slipping out of your hands, as if someone else is pulling the strings? That's their goal, to erode your autonomy until you're tethered to their will. Epictetus taught us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and that freedom comes from guarding what's yours. Your mind, your choices, your spirit. Malicious individuals know this, and they'll weave intricate traps to keep you bound, doubting your abilities and leaning on their guidance. Thank you for staying with Live Stoic, Live Strong. It means you're seeking more than words. We're here for that journey with you. But here's the truth. You are not their pawn. Stoic wisdom is your shield, urging you to ask, does this align with my values? Let that question be your compass, guiding you back to clarity. I learned to trust my instincts, to reject their subtle chains, and to reclaim my voice. Autonomy isn't just power, it's your birthright. Protect it fiercely. Surround yourself with those who lift you up, who cheer your growth without trying to steer it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the quality of our thoughts shapes our happiness. Don't let anyone rewrite your reality or dim your light. Stand tall, hold your ground, and let your mind blaze the path to freedom. Sign 4, continued, facing indifference with strength ****. Before we move forward, let's revisit the cold indifference of those who lack empathy. When faced with their chilling apathy, don't let it seep into your soul. Set boundaries like a fortress, unyielding and firm. Your worth isn't defined by their coldness. It's rooted in your own heart, your own truth. Seek connections that spark joy, that stand beside you in both triumph and tears. True relationships aren't built on exploitation. They're forged in mutual respect, where empathy flows freely. If their indifference leaves you hollow, walk away. Your peace is worth protecting. Oh, and if you're finding value in these insights, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe with the bell icon so you never miss a video. If this content resonates with you as much as it does with me, drop a comment saying, I see the signs. Let's keep learning together. As these signs build, the portrait of an evil person becomes undeniable, each trait a warning to guard your heart and mind. In the next part, we'll uncover another chilling tactic, one that reveals how they twist your kindness into their weapon. Curious to see what's next? Let's keep moving forward. We've just uncovered how their hunger for control can cage your spirit, twisting your kindness into their chains. Now let's peer into an even darker corner of their nature, where blame becomes a weapon and pain fuels their pleasure. These signs will sharpen your instincts, empowering you to break free from their games. Ready to see the truth laid bare? Let's dive in. Sign 6. Blame games and deflection ****. Seneca once observed, people often prefer trust over judgment, and manipulative souls wield this truth like a blade. They don't just dodge accountability. They spin intricate tales that paint them as eternal victims, deflecting blame with the finesse of a master storyteller. Imagine a friend who, when a project crumbles, never owns their missteps. Instead, they point fingers at you, at circumstances, at the stars themselves, while you're left questioning your own role. I once worked with someone close on a critical project. When things went awry, she didn't hesitate. With a voice dripping with faux concern, she critiqued my every move, suggesting my disorganization was the root of our failure. Her words stung, and for a moment, I wondered, was I the problem? But the pattern became clear. Each mistake, each oversight, was met with the same sleight of hand. Subtle accusations, disguised as feedback, leaving me to carry the weight of her errors. Seneca's wisdom rings true. The truth stands firm without justification, while lies demand elaborate stories. These manipulators thrive on your empathy, twisting your trust until you feel guilty for their wrongs. They craft narratives so convincing you might cast yourself as the villain in their carefully scripted drama. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that truth needs no embellishment. To shield yourself, anchor in facts. When their stories shift, when their accusations feel too slick, step back. Calmly demand clarity. Ask questions, seek evidence, and watch their house of cards tremble. Protect your peace by setting boundaries as firm as stone. Refuse to play their psychological games, where blame is a currency they spend freely. I learned to trust my observations, to hold fast to my integrity, and to reject the guilt they tried to drape over me. Ask yourself, do their excuses unravel under scrutiny? That's the sixth sign, a beacon, urging you to stand in your truth and steer clear of their chaos. Unnoticed sign 7. The pleasure of pain asterisk. Epictetus advised, associate with those who make you better. But some revel in the opposite. They find joy in tearing others down. One of the most chilling traits of a malicious person is the quiet thrill they draw from others' suffering. It's not always overt. It starts small, like a spark that grows into a blaze. A sarcastic jab at your misstep, a mocking chuckle when someone stumbles, or a fleeting smirk when tears fall. These are the breadcrumbs of their true nature. Over time, the mask slips, revealing a heart that doesn't just tolerate pain, but delights in it. I once knew someone who seemed charming until their subtle cruelty surfaced. When a colleague faced a public setback, their eyes lit up, a faint grin curling as they whispered, they had it coming. It wasn't just indifference, it was satisfaction, a twisted pleasure in watching others falter. These individuals don't build themselves up through effort or kindness. They climb by stepping on the broken pieces of those they wound. Their joy isn't in creation, but in destruction, feeding off the misery they sow. Have you ever felt a chill from someone's laughter, as if your pain was their entertainment? That's the seventh sign, a warning to distance yourself swiftly. To protect yourself, heed Epictetus's call to seek those who uplift, not degrade. Set boundaries against their toxicity, and don't let their delight in chaos dim your light. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your growth, who share in your joy, and stand firm in your sorrow. Your peace is a treasure. Guard it fiercely from those who find pleasure in pain. As these signs weave together, the portrait of an evil person grows sharper, each trait a warning to protect your heart. In the next part, we'll uncover another tactic, one that reveals how they exploit your trust to deepen their control. Ready to keep going? Let's uncover the next layer. We've just peeled back the chilling truth about those who find joy in others' pain, using blame and cruelty to mask their own emptiness. Now let's step into an even more sinister tactic, where isolation becomes their weapon and your connections their target. These signs will empower you to see through their schemes and hold fast to your strength. Ready to unravel the next layer? Let's dive in. Sign 8. Isolation as a weapon asterisk. Marcus Aurelius once taught, humans are born to cooperate. Our strength lies in unity. Our loved ones, friends, and communities are the roots that ground us, the voices that lift us when we falter. But for a malicious person, this unity is a threat they seek to shatter. Isolation is their weapon, a calculated strike to sever you from your support and make you vulnerable to their control. Picture a friend who seems warm and caring at first, their presence a soft light in your life. But slowly, their words take on a sharper edge, sowing seeds of doubt about those closest to you. Your best friend doesn't really value you, they might whisper, their tone heavy with concern. Your family? They'll never understand you like I do. I once had a friend who mastered this dark art. At first, her advice felt like a lifeline, her attentiveness a balm, but over time, her comments turned insidious. Your sister's too caught up in her own world to care, she'd say, her voice gentle yet piercing. That coworker you trust? They're just using you. At first, I dismissed her words as overprotective concern, but the repetition wore me down, planting doubts that grew like weeds, choking out my confidence in the relationships that had always anchored me. I found myself pulling away, confiding only in her, unaware I was stepping into her trap. Her goal wasn't to protect me, it was to isolate me, to make herself my only ally, my only truth. This isn't carelessness, it's a deliberate dance of manipulation. Evil individuals know that your strength lies in connection, so they work to unravel it, thread by thread. They sow insecurity, making you question the loyalty of those who matter most until you feel alone, dependent on their support. But here's the truth they fear. Your power blooms in community, in the shared laughter and steady hands of those who truly care. Have you ever felt a relationship fraying, not by chance, but by someone's subtle nudge? That's the 8th sign, a warning to guard your connections fiercely, to break free, lean into Stoic wisdom, trust your instincts, and hold fast to those who uplift you. When their words try to drive a wedge, pause and ask, does this ring true, or is it meant to divide? Rebuild those bonds they seek to break, reach out, reconnect, and let the warmth of genuine relationships remind you of your worth. I learned to see through her tactics, to cherish the friends and family she tried to push away, and to rebuild the trust she'd eroded. Your loved ones are your fortress. Don't let anyone tear it down. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your light, who stand by you without demanding control. Sign 7. Continued. Escaping the pleasure of pain asterisk. Before we move forward, let's revisit those who thrive on others' suffering. Their smirks and sarcastic jabs are more than cruelty. They're a glimpse into a hollow soul. Seneca reminds us, no man is more unhappy than one who never faces adversity. Yet these individuals use others' pain as a twisted ladder to climb above their own insecurities. Protect your peace by stepping away from their toxicity. Choose relationships that spark growth, where joy is shared, not stolen. True strength lies in lifting each other up, not reveling in another's fall. As these signs build, the mask of an evil person slips further, revealing their tactics in stark clarity. In the next part, we'll uncover another chilling trait, one that shows how they exploit your vulnerabilities to tighten their grip. Curious to see what's next? Let's keep forging ahead. We've just exposed how isolation can be wielded as a weapon, cutting you off from the connections that give you strength. Now, let's shine a light on 2 more sinister traits: envy disguised as care, and a heart that never seeks redemption. These signs will arm you with the clarity to protect your light and rise above their shadows. Ready to uncover the final pieces of this puzzle? Let's dive in. Sign 9. Jealousy in disguise asterisk. Seneca warned, envy is the ulcer of the soul, and when it hides behind a mask of goodwill, it becomes a poison that seeps into your confidence. Picture a friend who seems to cheer for your victories, their words draped in praise, but something feels off, like a melody played just out of tune. I once had a colleague who appeared thrilled when I completed a project I poured my heart into. "That's great," she said, her smile bright. "But maybe next time, aim higher to really stand out." At first, I took it as constructive advice, a nudge to grow. But her tone lingered, sharp and cutting, like a thorn beneath a rose. Over time, I saw the pattern. Her support was laced with subtle digs, each one designed to make me question my worth. These envious souls don't attack openly. They're too clever for that. Instead, they weave their jealousy into backhanded compliments or faint praise. You did well, but don't get too excited. There's always room to improve, they might say, or, that's amazing, but I heard someone else did it even better. Their words are like pebbles tossed into a still pond, rippling doubt across your mind. Why? Because your success, your light, casts a shadow on their insecurities. They can't bear to see you shine, so they chip away, hoping to dim your glow until you shrink to their level. Have you ever felt a compliment sting, as if it carried a hidden barb? That's the 9th sign, a signal to guard your heart. Stoic wisdom urges us to trust our intuition. If their praise feels hollow, if their advice leaves you smaller, pause and peer beneath their words. A true ally lifts you without reservation, their joy in your success as bright as your own. I learned to set boundaries, to let their veiled envy slide off me like rain on glass, and to surround myself with those who celebrated my wins without a hint of malice. Protect your confidence by seeking out those who push you to soar, not stumble. Your light is yours to nurture. Don't let anyone convince you to dim it. Stand tall, let your achievements blaze, and never apologize for shining. Sign 10. The unrepentant heart ***. Marcus Aurelius taught, "Do not waste time debating what a good person should be. Be one." Yet, for those with an unrepentant heart, self-improvement is a foreign concept. They don't reflect on their wrongs or seek to make amends. Instead, they march forward, unburdened by guilt, leaving a trail of hurt in their wake. Imagine someone who wounds you, perhaps with a lie, a betrayal, or a cruel remark. And when confronted, their eyes are cold, their words defiant. No apology, no remorse, just a shrug as if your pain is irrelevant. This isn't just arrogance. It's a chilling glimpse into a soul that feels no need to grow. I once knew someone who spread a damaging rumor about a colleague, tarnishing their reputation without a second thought. When the truth surfaced, they didn't falter. "It's not my fault they took it the wrong way," they said, their voice flat, their gaze unyielding. That lack of remorse wasn't a moment, it was their essence. Evil individuals don't pause to question their actions. They see no need to change, because in their world, they're never wrong. Their unrepentant heart is a fortress, locked against empathy or accountability. Have you ever met someone whose apologies feel like air, empty of sincerity? That's the 10th sign, a stark warning to step away. To shield yourself, embrace Stoic clarity. Focus on your own growth, not their refusal to change. Set boundaries that protect your peace, and seek those who strive to be better, who own their mistakes and learn from them. Your energy is too precious to waste on those who feel no regret. I chose to walk away, to invest in relationships that valued growth over ego, and found freedom in letting go of those who clung to their unrepentant ways. As these signs come together, the portrait of an evil person is complete, each trait a guide to protect your peace and power. In the next part, we'll explore how to use this wisdom to build a life surrounded by truth and connection. Ready to take the next step? Let's keep moving forward. We've just unmasked the envious and unrepentant, those who dim your light and refuse to grow. Now, let's tie these threads together, weaving a shield of awareness to protect your peace from their chaos. This final reflection will empower you to stand tall and reclaim your strength. Ready to bring it all home? Let's dive in. Sign 10. Continued. The unrepentant heart Marcus Aurelius urged us to focus on becoming better, not debating what goodness means. Yet, for those with an unrepentant heart, growth is a path they refuse to tread. They cling to their destructive ways, wrapping their wrongs in excuses as flimsy as mist. Picture someone who wounds you, a cutting remark, a betrayal, and when you call them out, their response is a wall of deflection. No apology, no flicker of regret, just a cold insistence that the fault lies elsewhere. I once knew someone who, after spreading a hurtful lie, shrugged off the pain they caused. "They're too sensitive," they said, their voice sharp, as if my hurt was a flaw to be dismissed. Their refusal to own their actions wasn't just stubbornness, it was a choice, a rejection of the courage it takes to change. These individuals don't just harm others, they sabotage themselves, locking their hearts against growth. When confronted, they twist the narrative, blaming circumstances, you or the world itself. "I didn't mean it that way," they might say, or "everyone else does worse." Their stubbornness isn't strength, it's a fragile shield hiding their fear of self-reflection. Stoic philosophy teaches us that admitting fault and making amends is the truest mark of courage. To grow is to face your flaws, to mend what you've broken, to rise stronger. But for the unrepentant, such vulnerability is weakness, and they'd rather live in denial than embrace the freedom of change. Have you ever felt the weight of someone's refusal to say, "I was wrong"? That's the 10th sign, a call to protect your peace. To shield yourself, set boundaries as unyielding as stone. Don't waste energy on those who justify every wrong, who see no need to grow. I learned to walk away, to pour my heart into relationships with those who strive for better, who meet their mistakes with humility. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to focus on thoughts and people who elevate our lives. Choose connections that spark growth, that honor your worth with accountability and care. Your energy is a treasure, invested in those who lift you, not those who chain themselves to their unrepentant ways. Conclusion. Arming yourself with awareness ***. We've journeyed through 10 chilling signs of an evil person, from manipulation to isolation, from envy to an unrepentant heart. Each trait is a brushstroke in a portrait of those who thrive on chaos, who seek to dim your light to feel their own. But here's the power you hold. Awareness is your greatest weapon. Evil can only wound when it moves in the shadows, unseen. Now, with these signs etched in your mind, you see their tactics for one system. They are fragile illusions that crumble under scrutiny. Imagine standing in a storm, the winds of manipulation and deceit howling around you. With these 10 signs as your compass, you can navigate through the chaos, anchoring yourself in stoic clarity. Their lies, their envy, their cold indifference, they only hold power if you let them. By recognizing their patterns, you reclaim your serenity, building a life where your peace is untouchable. I faced these storms myself, learning to spot the subtle barbs and walk away from those who thrive on destruction. Each step away from their influence was a step toward freedom, toward relationships that spark joy and growth. Now, it's your turn to wield this wisdom. Set boundaries that guard your heart like a fortress. Surround yourself with those who reflect your values, people who celebrate your victories, share your struggles, and grow alongside you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, your mind is your stronghold. Let no one invade it. Hold fast to that truth, and let your light shine so fiercely that their darkness shrinks in its glow. Ask yourself, Are you ready to protect your peace and choose connections that uplift your soul? That's the path to true strength. As we wrap up these signs, our journey isn't over. In the next part, we'll dive into practical steps to apply this Stoic wisdom, crafting a life filled with authentic relationships and unshakable peace. Ready to build that future? Let's keep moving forward. We've just unmasked the envious and unrepentant, those who dim your light and refuse to grow. Now, let's tie these threads together, weaving a shield of awareness to protect your peace from their chaos. This final reflection will empower you to stand tall and reclaim your strength. Ready to bring it all home? Let's dive in. Sign 10. Continued. The unrepentant heart ***. Marcus Aurelius urged us to focus on becoming better, not debating what goodness means. Yet, for those with an unrepentant heart, growth is a path they refuse to tread. They cling to their destructive ways, wrapping their wrongs in excuses as flimsy as mist. Picture someone who wounds you, a cutting remark, a betrayal, and when you call them out, their response is a wall of deflection. No apology, no flicker of regret, just a cold insistence that the fault lies elsewhere. I once knew someone who, after spreading a hurtful lie, shrugged off the pain they caused. "They're too sensitive," they said, their voice sharp, as if my hurt was a flaw to be dismissed. Their refusal to own their actions wasn't just stubbornness. It was a choice, a rejection of the courage it takes to change. These individuals don't just harm others, they sabotage themselves, locking their hearts against growth. When confronted, they twist the narrative, blaming circumstances, you, or the world itself. "I didn't mean it that way," they might say, or "everyone else does worse." Their stubbornness isn't strength. It's a fragile shield hiding their fear of self-reflection. Stoic philosophy teaches us that admitting fault and making amends is the truest mark of courage. To grow is to face your flaws, to mend what you've broken, to rise stronger. But for the unrepentant, such vulnerability is weakness, and they'd rather live in denial than embrace the freedom of change. Have you ever felt the weight of someone's refusal to say, "I was wrong"? That's the 10th sign, a call to protect your peace. To shield yourself, set boundaries as unyielding as stone. Don't waste energy on those who justify every wrong, who see no need to grow. I learned to walk away, to pour my heart into relationships with those who strive for better, who meet their mistakes with humility. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to focus on thoughts and people who elevate our lives. Choose connections that spark growth, that honor your worth with accountability and care. Your energy is a treasure, invested in those who lift you, not those who chain themselves to their unrepentant ways. Conclusion. Arming yourself with awareness ***. We've journeyed through 10 chilling signs of an evil person, from manipulation to isolation, from envy to an unrepentant heart. Each trait is a brushstroke in a portrait of those who thrive on chaos, who seek to dim your light to feel their own. But here's the power you hold. Awareness is your greatest weapon. Evil can only wound when it moves in the shadows, unseen. Now, with these signs etched in your mind, you see their tactics for what they are: fragile illusions that crumble under scrutiny. Imagine standing in a storm, the winds of manipulation and deceit howling around you. With these 10 signs as your compass, you can navigate through the chaos, anchoring yourself in Stoic clarity. Their lies, their envy, their cold indifference, they only hold power if you let them. By recognizing their patterns, you reclaim your serenity, building a life where your peace is untouchable. I've faced these storms myself, learning to spot the subtle barbs, and walk away from those who thrive on destruction. Each step away from their influence was a step toward freedom, toward relationships that spark joy and growth. Now, it's your turn to wield this wisdom. Set boundaries that guard your heart like a fortress. Surround yourself with those who reflect your values, people who celebrate your victories, share your struggles, and grow alongside you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Your mind is your stronghold. Let no one invade it." Hold fast to that truth, and let your light shine so fiercely that their darkness shrinks in its glow. Ask yourself, are you ready to protect your peace and choose connections that uplift your soul? That's the path to true strength. Thank you for your time. If one idea touched you today, come back next time. It may reach deeper. Share this with someone who needs a quiet moment. See you in the next video.